Hi, Timothy Carlson here. The Criterion Collection is at it again, having reissued one of the most famous sci-fi monster movies in history. The movie I'm referring to today, of course, is Godzilla, the original 1954 Japanese film directed by Ishiro Honda. I'm going to unbox this release and share my opinions. Cover art's pretty much identical to Criterion's previous Blu-ray release, this of course being a 4K of the film, but it also includes a copy of the older Blu-ray. Top of the box. There's the spine of what's inside there. Other spine. Back cover. Bottom's just a continuation of the art up above. On that side, we've got Godzilla roaring underwater. There's the spine. Back cover. Trying to tell if this is like a panoramic photo. Yeah, see, it's kind of like a panoramic photo of him underwater. And then on this side, you actually have a pop-up of Godzilla. That looks pretty cool. Something similar to that was in the Blu-ray release of the film Criterion did as well. We have the film here on Blu-ray, which is identical to the 2011 Criterion Blu-ray. And then we also have, of course, our 4K Ultra High Def release. This being the first 4K release of the film in North America. I'm not sure if this movie has actually gotten like a Japanese 4K yet or not. If anybody knows that, please let me know down below because I'm curious about that. And then, as with all Criterion releases, we do get an insert. On this side, you've got the artwork with Godzilla's name. On this side, you got Godzilla's name in Japanese. Cool art in there. Credits. Here's an essay by someone named Jay Hoberman called Poetry After the A-Bomb. Then we have something, about the masters. Yeah, acknowledgments, special thanks, production credits on this side. Godzilla, aka Gojira, is the roaring granddaddy of all monster movies. It's also a remarkably humane and melancholy drama, made in Japan at a time when the country was reeling from nuclear attack and H-bomb testing in the Pacific. Its rampaging radioactive beast, the embodiment of an entire population's fears, become a beloved international icon of destruction, spawning more than 30 sequels. A thrilling, tactile spectacle that continues to be a cult phenomenon. The original 1954 Japanese version is presented here, along with Godzilla, King of the Monsters, the 1956 Americanized version. I don't think there's anybody on Earth who doesn't know who or what Godzilla is. If there's a more famous monster, I haven't found it yet. And this franchise, of course, started out with this film in Japan back in 1954. At the time, of course, it had only been about a decade since the end of World War II when Japan was decimated by 2 atomic bombs. So fears of that, combined with fears of the atomic testing that was going on in the Pacific at the time, certainly created a lot of paranoia. And this movie conveys that paranoia exceptionally well. The film is pretty well cast, and we even get an appearance here from Takashi Shimura, who of course is probably best known for being the guy that shows up in almost all of Akira Kurosawa's movies. This might actually be his most famous non-Kurosawa role. And we do get, things like a love triangle. We get debate as to whether this creature should be destroyed or if it should be studied. There's a lot of things that have been pioneered by this film that have since become cliches because so many other movies have copied them. There is no, cheesy CGI effects here. Everything is practical. I mean, Godzilla is actually, basically a man in a suit. But the effects for their time were quite convincing and quite well done. The film is certainly dated in some regards, but it's also surprisingly intelligent with what it does as well. You gotta love all the efforts that went into this movie. And of course, there would be a ton of follow-ups. Godzilla actually holds the Guinness World Record for being the longest continually running film franchise in history, having spawned nearly 40 films. Of course, a lot of those later films get to be a little more campy, ridiculous, and over the top, but the original is much more melancholy and downtrodden, and I think in a lot of ways that actually makes this a much more effective film. Criterion actually put out a Blu-ray set of Godzilla films from the franchise's first era, covering about, roughly 2 decades of films. If I ever get my hands on that, I'll certainly review this on the channel as well. But overall, the movie certainly holds up. And we do get the American version in HD on the Blu-ray disc as well, which is called Godzilla, King of the Monsters. That actually creates a new framing device featuring American actor Raymond Burr, who appears as a journalist. And of course, they have to use body doubles around him to make him fit in seamlessly with the Japanese footage. And it tends to be a little more black and white, a little less ambiguous than the original Japanese film. It also clocks in at about 15 minutes shorter, but it was actually a very effective Americanization of this concept. Certainly not as effective or powerful of a film, but even to this day, we're getting Americanizations of Japanese products. I mean, they've been turning Super Sentai into Power Rangers for 30 plus years now, which is a testament to that sort of thing going on. So how does Godzilla look in 4K? Apparently, from what I've read, the 4K scan is a new scan, but the Blu-ray disc is identical to the previously released one, so it doesn't utilize the new scan. There is no HDR on this release, but I do have to say, I don't think it would have made a massive difference if there was. There are elements of this production that are understandably going to look dated and not the best. But as is, I think this is probably the best looking version of the original Godzilla we can possibly get. The original negatives for Godzilla have been long since lost, but we do have some later generation dupe prints that are in pretty good shape. And I have to say, overall, this is certainly a nice upgrade. And you do get some nice, deeper, darker black levels than you did on the previously released Blu-ray, even with the lack of HDR. Overall, I think it's a pretty good looking transfer, and I'm not disappointed with what I see here. Again, we get a copy of the older Blu-ray from Criterion, and that has all of the associated bonus features on there, including Godzilla King of the Monsters and several interviews with cast and crew. So it's a pretty packed package, and if you are a fan of Godzilla or just monster movies or sci-fi in general, this is an absolute must-add that should be added to your collection. How about you? Are you a Godzilla fan? What do you think of the original movie back where it all began? Do you think this is still your favorite Godzilla movie? If not, what is? And what did you think of Criterion's 4K transfer of the movie? Comment down below and let us know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. We're always posting new videos. And make sure you give us a like if you found it helpful. Until it's Carlson, I'll see you next time.